Part 2 of Noah, the Millennium Man, coming up next on DC Bible Study. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me on another DC Bible Study. I am the Dangerous Crusader, Brett Parks, or whatever you want to call me, whatever. Listen, we're going over Part 2 of Noah, the Millennium Man, and I don't want to do this.
This is the worst.
Because it's crazy. I didn't have to know all this. You know, I was perfectly fine with Noah Ark, the animals, and they survived the flood and everything's great. But that's not life. That's not reality. So let's get into it, I guess.
Not a great plan.
What we went over last week, we got to remember everything on the earth, the humans, all they thought about was evil all the time and violence, and God didn't like it. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to destroy all the earth, but I'm going to save Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives, and 2 of every animal that walks the earth, and we're going to start over. And that happened. Rains, floods came, everything died, but what was in the ark? We don't know if it was a regional flood or a global flood. Doesn't really matter. Now they leave the ark. There's dry ground, and God said, you know what? It's time for you guys to start eating meat. I'm going to show you what you're missing. So they're eating meat.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
So everything seems great, and things get hairy. Noah's family becomes very dysfunctional. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the 150 days in the ark or whatever, but it gets crazy. I'm going to go over Genesis 9, verses 20 through 25. And it says, Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his 2 brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. They walked in backwards and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so they would not see their father naked. Then Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slave he will be to his brothers." That's a lot to unpack, and let's unpack it real quick. So Noah, after he gets out of the ark, he plants a vineyard. He was kind of a farmer, and he planted grapes in his vineyard. It's beautiful, it's grapes. Supposedly this is like the first time anyone's gotten drunk because he drank all that wine. It turned out the grapes turned into wine, and he got really drunk.
Blue, you're my boy!
So he passes out naked. Now Ham, who is the father of Canaan, which is why he said, "Cursed be to Canaan." Ham saw, we'll put that in quotation marks, Ham saw his father naked and went and told Shem and Japheth. And then when Noah woke up, he was furious. I don't know why he's furious about that. You know, my kids, sometimes they walk in on me naked and I'm just like, "Hey, what's up? I'm naked." And they're like, "Oh, shoot." And they walk out. Oh! I'm not like, "Cursed be your son, you saw me in the nude." It's very strange, and there were some theories about that. Noah, because of that, he banishes Ham and ultimately Canaan, because Ham is the father of Canaan. So this is a whole can of worms that get opened. And there are 3 possible reasons why Noah cursed Ham. And I'm just going to tell you this. I don't know if any of them are correct. It may be just as it said, that he saw him naked. But the first one is, while Noah was passed out, Ham may have SA'd him or his wife. And everyone knows what SA means. I have to say that or I'll get banned and get a strike and all that stuff.
What? No.
The first reason is, possible reason, Noah was passed out and Ham made went in there and said, "Oh," and did his thing to either Noah or Noah's wife or both of them.
Not a great plan.
I don't know. There's good points on why that could have been the case. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what to think about it. If you guys want, you can read up on it. The second possible reason is Ham may have castrated Noah while he was passed out. Now, you guys know what castrated is. I think we went over that before. It's when this and this and this here. Like that. That's what that is. Like I said, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But some scholars, they have good points on why that could be. I didn't think they were that good, but they were points. And then the third reason is the traditional explanation, which is like what I like to think when I lay my head at night. And and pray to the Lord. I like to just think that it was a traditional thing. Ham looked at Noah's nakedness, which it may have been shameful back then. You know, it may have been one of those things. You know, the laws were crazy back then, and they were just writing the law at that time. And hey, like, maybe that was it. I'm hoping that was it. I'm 90% sure that was it. But I wanted to let you guys know the other two reasons. And I don't know.
This is the worst.
I don't like it. You just saw him naked. Noah died at the age of 950 years old, and that's why I call him the Millennium Man, because he almost got to 1,000 years. 950 years, that's pretty good. I'm about 150% sure that I'll never see the age of 950 years old. You might. There might be some people in China or in India that are that old, but yeah. Right now, we're going to do a segment that I really appreciate. It's called The Dangerous Take, and that's where I kind of put my thoughts into the subject, the Bible study that I studied for up to today. And I just want to give you guys a few points of what I got through this. It's called The Dangerous Take, and we're going to start that right about now. Noah's account in the New Testament is one of the first stories we ever hear in our kindergarten Sunday school, but is a story that we don't get much detail from. For example, I didn't realize how old Noah was or how long it took him to build the ark, or even God's command of the precise instructions on how to build the ark. As an adult and studying for this story this week, I've gained a new appreciation for Noah and the kind of obedience he showed. Think about it. Noah was 480 years old when God commanded him to build the ark. Now, I don't know about you, but at 45 years old, I don't want to do anything, let alone build a boat. But the Lord called him and he chose obedience. It took Noah 120 years to build the boat. I mean, it makes sense. It's not like they had a Home Depot down the road, and the size of the boat, even though he had his 3 sons helping, would still take a while. We should take a lesson from Noah's life and understand that if you're being used by the Lord, or if he has plans for you, don't expect it to be completed overnight. I've heard it said that it's not the destination, but the journey that's the joy.
It's true.
Though some of us may call malarkey on this saying, it's an important tool to take out when you feel that the Lord has taken his sweet time leading you. Remember, God's timing is perfect. Our job isn't to get the results. Our job is to be obedience. The sooner we, as followers of Jesus Christ, understand and accept this, the more joy we'll find in our everyday lives. And that's my dangerous take. Now, I told you part 2 would be weird, and it was weird, but we're going to keep going, and I'm going to do this little segment, things to take away. And when you're going throughout the week and you start forgetting this Bible study, you can always come back and watch it again, or you can really remember these things to take away. And it's really useful. It's really helpful. It's helped me in the past, and I hope it helps you as well. So we're going to start that segment right about now. All right, things to take away. Number 1, you are never too old to be used by God. You might be in your 30s, you might be in your 40s, you might be in your 80s. Noah was 350 years old when God called him. Just because you're old doesn't mean you're being put out to pasture and you're pretty much done. The Lord will call you if you are open to it. And it's very important that we remember that. You're never too old to be used by God. Things to take away. Number 2, sometimes God's work takes time. Don't lose heart. I see this all the time. There are people at church or people that I meet, and they're like, I think the Lord's called me, but this and this happened, and I don't think he's calling me anymore. And my answer to that, my response to that is, listen, it takes time. It takes time. You just need to take a breath. You need to relax. Today is not forever. Tomorrow's not forever. It's just another 24 hours. And the Lord, he takes his time, but like I said before, his timing's perfect. So don't lose heart. Keep your head up, keep your chest out, and handle it. That's what Tupac said once, but it rings true. Things to take away. Number 3, God didn't just consider Noah, but his family as well. Now, if Noah, if he was a righteous guy and was faithful to the Lord, and his family are a bunch of degenerates, which at the end of the flood, it kind of seemed like they were, but they were faithful as well. And Noah, and God saw that and saw, Noah, man, you're an awesome man, but you raised 3 great kids. You have a great wife. Your kids have great wives. You know what? take them all with you. You know, he considered all of this. He didn't just consider Noah, he considered his family. So when you are raising your sons or daughters, or your sons or daughters are looking for husbands and wives, you need to be a part of that. And you need to say, listen, you know, you got to pick the right one, or you have to raise them the correct way. You raise them up in the Lord. And because one of these days, if the Lord calls you, he's going to consider your family as well. And I know all of us have family problems. It's just a part of life. But it happens. It's something that always happens, and you just need to keep having faith. You got to keep praying for your family members, and you can't lose heart. Don't lose heart. Things to take away. Number 4, and the last one: you never know what the future will bring. So live every day as if the Lord will call on you tomorrow. This happens all the time. Even in my life, it happens where I don't feel a nudging from the Holy Spirit. I don't feel the Lord calling me. So I just go do my own thing, and I'm like, whatever. If I were to be expecting that the Lord would call me tomorrow, today I would act completely different. I'd have my affairs in order, and I don't mean like physically. I would just spiritually have my affairs in order. I'd be ready to go to war. And a lot of us fail to realize that God may not call you today, but 24 hours from now, he may call you. And you better be ready to build a boat. You better be ready to spend years of your life doing things that you might not really want to do, but the Lord commands it, and we're to be obedient. So if we live every day like the Lord's calling us tomorrow, things will be much easier in life, be healthier spiritually, emotionally, mentally. So we got to remember that. You never know what the future will bring. You never know what tomorrow brings. So you got to live today like the Lord's going to call on you tomorrow. And that's all I have to say. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on another DC Bible study. I told you this one would be weird. It went sideways, man. But you know what? We got through it.
You did it! Congratulations!
I don't think many of us are traumatized, and I appreciate you guys being here. Listen, thank you guys so much. Really, I couldn't be doing these Bible studies without you. So thank you so much. And if you got something out of this Bible study, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. We're trying to get as many followers as possible so many more people can get the word of God, because a lot of people don't go to church, and I want them to know these basic Bible stories that get a little bit more detail. I love it. Remember, guys, be dangerous, love God, love people, love you.
What you say about my mama?